So your teeth, did that happen from eating fire, from the kerosene and stuff?
Are we on now?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, the teeth basically, I'm getting them done now. The teeth are all wounds from the Chair Act and the Fire Act. It's took its toll. Good pop though, because I do in my show I take them out. The Chair Act, and people love it. I mean, it looks nasty and all that, but I'm the kind of performer. I'll use what I got. You know, they basically want to take them all out, and I really don't want that, but I'm gonna have to, because at this point I can't get a date. You know what I mean?
Help me get a crowd, y'all. Don't be nervous. All right. Get a crowd for 9/11. Here we go, y'all. Will love this shit. And you know who you are. All right.
I mean, when I hear people say I want to become a busker, I go like, you're not ever going to become one, because that's not the way it happens. You just fall into it, you get sucked into it, and you're there. That's it. It's not by choice. It chooses you.
And then just for fun, I went out on the street because I saw other jugglers on the Venice boardwalk, and I went out and I just had like a 2-minute show, and I just did it over and over again all day long. And I'll never forget, at the end of the day, I made $30 in my hat. And I was 13 years old, and I made $30 like that, and I was hooked. And I've been a performer ever since then. What would you say all street performers have in common?
Money. Not really. I mean, okay, the love for the art. And as I'm saying, the love, and they are the realest performers out there. Because if anyone can stop an audience on the streets, you can stop an audience and captivate them anywhere. Because the streets is the hardest.
You're afraid that the people are going to walk away. Because on the street, if you're not constantly talking, like every second, and always constantly doing something, people just run away.
She's doing really good. Let's go even faster. You're great, Millie. Take a bow.
You don't sell tickets at the start of a street show. You do the show, and at the end you say, hey, if you enjoyed the show, then I'd really appreciate a couple bucks.
And there's no agents involved. There's no waiting for the phone to ring. You know, there's no 3-drink minimum. There's none of that. It's just you and them.
We're a rebel sort of group of people. We work in the street because we don't have to work for nobody. We do whatever we want to do and whatever we want to do. We don't no jobs, no bills, no place to live. Working in the street. Right on. Busking around America.
It's not like, you know, stage performing. It's not like any other form of performing. You have to really want to perform, to be out there street performing. You have to really want to do it.
You know, the first time I showed this stunt to my father, he said, son, if you break both your legs, don't come running to me.
It's interesting because some people I think are motivated by the money, and then other people I think are just out there doing it. They're not necessarily as motivated by the money. I know some aren't because they don't get any money.
But don't get me wrong, ladies and gentlemen. I don't do this for the money. I do it for love. Yeah, come on, I do it for love. Yeah, I love money. Okay.
Reality is like kind of boring, and I'm really misadapted, if you can say, in reality. But in those fabulous worlds or theater or magical as we do, it's like, wow, we're breathing again. we're alive.
Everybody repeat after me. Keep your head straight. Keep your head straight. Nobody move. Nobody move. Nobody get hurt. Nobody get hurt. This is some serious shit.
There's no rush like it. It's a very clean high with no hangover.
You go out there and you feel godlike, right? But you're not. You're just a normal person, but it's an addictive thing.
Maybe you do use only 10% of your brain, but when you're on stage, maybe you're using like 75 or 80% of it.
You can compare it to an orgasm, just it lasts half an hour instead of half a minute.
When my show, when it's gone well, I feel so much love that I feel invincible. I feel like a higher being, which is scary.
If you got a vacation coming up, it's really important to do well on your last show. Because if you do a dog of a show, then you're gonna feel like a talentless loser for like 2 weeks. And if you do a really good show, then it's like, God, I am God.
And I was having so much fun that I didn't take off my makeup. And I stayed in makeup in school that day, and I went to the bank in town with friends, and then I went to work in whiteface, and I worked the first 2 hours at my job in whiteface. And it was a life-changing experience because there was something that was liberating in me. I was allowed to have a spontaneous impulse and play it out with the acceptance that, oh, well, he's an artist, or he's a mime, he's not a nut.
I was a heroin addict, 70s and early 80s, so I had to do the 3-card Monty. Then I found street performing. And I used all of my wiliness from being a drug addict. But now I wasn't on drugs. So everything I'd learned from those having to find money days, I applied to street performing and then later to stage performing.
So kids, if you stay in school, you stay off the drugs, you're gonna become just like me. Chinese. Good luck, kiddies. Here we go. Final 2 moves.
Do you remember that very first street show you ever did?
Yeah. It was, I didn't make eye contact with the audience for like 3 months because I was so scared of the audience.
Like it was like walking in a boxing ring and not really knowing how to box.
The first time I did it was the first time I ever had like stage fright for real. I went in the tube with my balls and I was shaking. I was like,
Fear. That's what drove me to develop an act.
You know, and people go, don't you want to do a street show for the fun of it, just to see what it was like? And the answer is like, no, because that would be terrifying to me to do that now. I would be scared now to do it as I would be the first day I started doing street performing.
The first performer that I really admired because of how he like captured a crowd and how he could get him to like stand up and just give him money was my parish priest. You know, and I mean, he was funny and the people loved it. When they were done, they just threw money at him.
This is how I make my living.
I'm a professional street entertainer. I don't get paid to be here. I rely only on your donations. So if you can come up, put $10 in my hat, that's
The
really...
formula for taking money from passerbys is the exact same one that's been used for hundreds of years. What you're doing is an old mass hypnotist formula. It's getting a crowd to follow instructions, getting a crowd to follow the final instruction, which is to give you money.
I want you to pull out a 10-guilder note.
If you can't get a crowd to clap their hands and scream when you tell them to, don't ever expect them to give you money when you tell them to.
Ladies and gentlemen, I came all the way from Flagstaff, Arizona to be here today. If I don't make enough money to get home, I will stay and breed with the locals.
You got basically the bigger the crowd, the more people watch. So you have to really like put out a lot of energy. It's the first phase of getting that crowd. If you have enough like energy, people will stop because they just figure something's going to happen. Then once like 2 people stop, then 2 people stop to watch those 2 people, and then those 4 stop another 4, and it just kind of goes geometrically.
Okay, so if you'll just excuse me for a minute, maybe just look away. I don't actually have my pants on right now. I don't actually have my pants on, and I've just got to get into my costume, and then I'll get ready to start. So if you could just like look away, because I don't have my pants on right now.
What would you say to a person who's thinking about becoming a street performer?
Don't get my spot.
The better the spot, the more competition there is for it. So it's kind of like a case of either someone dies or gets really sick and stops showing up. And then within 3 months of being there every single week, then it kind of becomes your spot.
Where you do it geographically has a lot to do with the success of the show. And you don't perform where there's a lot of distraction.
Anything can upset your show. A dog, a drunk, a lady fainting.
A lot of people come to Amsterdam, and it's a pretty hard pitch because everyone's drunk and stoned because they're in Amsterdam. A lot of people come and die because it's just too aggressive, or they just can't get noticed because there's so much else going on, you know what I mean?
It feels so good! Don't stop! Now don't push and shove, everyone will get a piece!
In Amsterdam, there were so many performers who wanted to use that spot. They came up with a system where they actually draw numbers to see what order they go on in. But even with a system like that, there are arguments and fights all the time.
There have been all of these problems, and it's taken me 10 minutes longer to do the whole finale than it usually does. Pack up my stuff, and he jumps on me immediately. I thought you said the show was 30 minutes. And I went, I am sorry. And before I can finish my apology, David jumps straight up.
Guys,
Just do your show and keep to yourself, all right? All right?
Before she
started,
how long my show was. She said
Doesn't matter. It's over. Go. It's over. Go. And start. I don't want to hear you complain. I don't care. Just start.
Yeah, that was basically all it was. Animals fighting over their territory.
Let's go, man. Don't give me your shit. Fuck. Don't give me your shit, man. I don't need your shit, cowboy.
If you're inexperienced, you get intimidated. But if you're experienced, not really many people can intimidate me. I don't know about other people, but me, I know the ropes, I know what's going on. So if someone says, oh, we do this, we do that, and you got to work there, we work here, I know that where they work would be the better pitch. So I sort of tell them how it's going to be different.
The guy goes, look, I've been waiting for this spot. Okay? And he grabs the guy's arm, okay? These 2 clowns, the guy pulls his arm and says, don't touch me, okay? Don't touch me, man. He says, look, it's my spot. I've been sitting here. He's trying to reason with the guy. The guy says, look, you don't touch me. Get out of my face. Move. And he pushes him. Wham! And the other guy goes, he just goes, boom, knocks the other guy down. So people start gathering around these 2 clowns just going at it, like tooth and nail, just punching and blood coming out of the side of the mountain, mixing in with the white face. As soon as they were done, they're just like, people pulling them off and everything like that. The tension's real high. I started my show. I said, what a pro, you know. I got my crowd already. I didn't even have to work. Ladies and gentlemen, my opening act. I hope you enjoyed them.
And this one is for who? The tourists! Hey, why? Because we love them! Now, we know that they talk bad about New Yorkers. That's right! But that don't mean that everyone who live in New York is crazy! They have nice people still live here. And we are some of them! So anytime you come to New York, think like this! We all are human beings. It's only one race. And that's the human race. And that's why we should learn to live together and be more civilized. Thank you. All right.
Hi, welcome to Amsterdam.
Gotta be a little crazy. You know, all the people will get together and talk about, you know, their new house, or, you know, that's the way they measure success. You know, street performers will measure their success by, you know, who's got the craziest story, you know, who's got the craziest happening.
Weird things happen on the street, you know. Had a guy pull a knife on me here.
You know, I had a guy drink blue lamp oil. He took my lamp oil and started drinking it in the middle of my show, and I had to grab it out of his hand, and he was like fighting to get it back so he could drink more.
And I've had people steal my money. I was on Venice. The winos would walk by and grab it and run.
And this guy steps into the middle of the crowd out of nowhere, and he says, "Do you people want to see a full moon in broad daylight?" And he turns around and he drops his pants. He moons the whole crowd, his whole butt's out. Everyone's, you know, and then he like spread his cheeks, so the whole crowd was all, oh.
So I do a few impressions. Like one of them is a man sawing his wooden leg off. And one night I was doing this, and there was a guy with a wooden leg on the front row. He proceeds to unscrew his wooden leg off and put it on the stage in front of me.
I'm wearing shorts because it's hot in Key West, and I got suspenders and a little bow tie. And I get a little crowd, and I'm doing my show, and I go down on my back. I don't realize this, but my penis falls out.
Come on.
Totally, my most embarrassing moment from the shorts, and I don't know this because I'm juggling up between my legs, and the crowd's going, oh my, oh. And I stand up, and I feel the breeze, and I was so embarrassed. But I had been making $4 a show, and that I made $12.74.
These two blonde women, pretty hot middle-aged women, come marching down and just start stripping me, you know, putting me in a straitjacket naked, and I got pictures to prove it, all right?
The funniest thing that happened to me, I was doing my fire show, and the guy had a big afro, black dude, and the torch touched his hair, and the whole shit went up, man, in New York, man.
I would dive over the hedge, and it was a beautiful dive, man. It was like the hedge was way up here. I was like, dive over the hedge, beautiful, come back. I would slide down the street, dive over the hedge, and I dived right into dog crap, you know, just right into it, just right on my back, whole back of my band leader costume. That was it. I had to stop the show because that was it. You don't get that stuff out.
You're so cool. Face the audience, Frederick, Hendrik, never mind. Keep smiling, and don't worry, be happy, mate. Here we go, no worries, here we go. Keep smiling, Frederick. Think about life, can be short sometimes. Have fun. Here we go. Keep smiling. No worries.
I'm not the little circus boy that I used to be. I'm the full-on mad, you know, alternative you know, tattooed man, you know.
You ran away with the circus. Like,
I didn't run away, man. My mum was quite happy to take me there. I tried to run away, but she said, yeah, that's cool. She was like, yeah, take him.
I remember when I first saw 5 balls, I forgot to clap as well.
I had a knack to making people laugh because when I grew up, my mum, because I came from a really full-on family where there was a bit of alcoholism, my mum used to get abused quite a lot, so I would naturally want to make my mum laugh through growing up with her, so because she was, you know, quite upset and sad a lot of the time. So I developed a knack to be able to make my mum laugh. Then it went on to making everyone laugh, and then it just pretty much, that was what I was into. I was into making people happy, which is what I do.
Come on, Cole, baby. Treat me rough.
Most of the performers that I know viewed themselves as unpopular as children. And I think becoming an entertainer is a sort of a way of overcompensating for that.
David, my husband, had a really fractured childhood. His mum and dad split up when he was very young, and his mum died in a car accident in his early 20s.
Because I was alone frequently, I was left to entertain myself. I was left to use my imagination to come up with ways and means of filling the void that would normally be filled by families and sisters and, you know, family activities, and I never had any of that. I was always, you know, Monday to Friday. What do? Well, you dream dreams and you play games with yourself. You come to realize that, you know, when you're 13 years old and you're living by yourself, that, hey, nobody else is doing this. I must be special. Okay, boys, altitude.
My parents and my family have always been very supportive of my endeavors. Of course, once you get successful, everybody's supportive. You know, but in the beginning, they're going, are you crazy? Are you nuts? You're a street bum. You're working on the street. You know, like that kind of thing. Like, but people love me. Well, you know, they hate you. You're a bum. You know, so it was kind of insane for a while. But once you got to a certain point, they forgot they even said that. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, once they see you on TV a couple times.
Yeah,
like, oh,
well.
that's great. I love what you're doing.
And all their friends start telling. That's when all the, my God, your son's a genius. Really? Yeah, he's amazing. I saw him on TV. Unbelievable. Then all of a sudden he's buying me tires for my car. You know, is there anything you need? You know, everything changed.
It pretty much set me apart and made me semi-popular, whereas my academic skills weren't doing that. So, yeah, it kind of helped me along through a tough time. Got me laid, too, a lot, you know. So I used to do things with cards like you're thinking of the 3 of spades. And how'd you know that, you know? And I would just use that and play it. And man, I'd play it big and I'd get laid from it, too. And if that didn't work, ether on a rag really helped.
Maybe it's getting up on stage 5, 6 times a week, 7 times a week, and having a whole bunch of people just go, hey, you're wonderful, you know, and that really does something to your psyche, I think, over the long haul. You know, do that for a decade or 2, and you begin to believe people, you know, like, hey, maybe I'm not so bad.
So your swingers don't look, put your head down. Now would be a good time. Put your head down. The center of the skull is if you draw a line from the top of the head to the chin, from ear to ear, the center of the skull is about right here. Ah! 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 How's it look? Look, technically that is the center of the skull. No, I know you want to hear. Ah! How's that? Take me home to meet your dad. Watch out, last year I was here, I sneezed and I nailed the kid to that tree over there. Here, maybe it's better, but it's good so you can't see it. There, it's gone. I told you not to look.
So what do I get out of performing?
I get to get along with people for half an hour. You know, because I can't get along with people the rest of my life. I can get along with them when I'm on the stage and they're in the audience. Then we have a great relationship. You take those same people, put them in my neighborhood, and have him be my gardener that I hire to cut my lawn, and he's gonna hate me. So that's what I get, some relationship with the human race.
What is the best thing about your job?
Freedom. Freedom.
The freedom of a millionaire without the responsibility.
I'm like being your own boss. You can't put a price on being your own boss. I just know that when I was a kid, you know, I always wanted to live free like a bird.
What is the worst thing about your job?
Freedom. The worst thing about the job is freedom, because it's an incredible responsibility. I wake up every morning, I don't have to do anything. I could eat, watch Jerry Springer every day, whatever. I have to make my own life.
There is a certain freedom, but that freedom comes at a price. I mean, anybody who says they're free, nobody's free. As long as we're all enslaved to the almighty dollar, nobody's free, and anybody who says they are is full of shit.
What happens with the cops? What do they do?
Well, usually this place I'm not even allowed to play without a permit. So whenever they put their mind on it, they kick me off.
The street performer world is rebellion against authority. You don't want anybody telling you what to do, right?
Right.
I mean, that's why a lot of these street performers, they just hate authority. Maybe the butterfly tattoo was representative of, you know, fuck who you people think I should be. I'm gonna be who I want to be.
'Cause I'm ready to snap!
One of the reasons street performers are street performers is because they can't be told where to stand and they can't be told what to say.
Another article here talking about how the music shouldn't be here and there shouldn't be any street performance in New Orleans.
Robert Shields was out there doing his mime act in Union Square, and I don't know what the heck bothered anyone about that. People were just completely delighted. He'd go out there and just mimic people. He was extremely good at it, follow them around, and the policeman would come up and tell him, "You're not allowed to do this here," and he'd mimic the policeman for a bit.
When a cop would walk down, he walks down on my turf, I'm imitating people, I imitate the cop, you know. Man, that would piss him off, and the crowd would just go nuts. I got arrested for performing without a permit, disturbing the peace, tons of arrests, actually. Every time I got arrested, it made front page, it made second page. It was a phenomenal publicity campaign. Eventually, the sergeant said, "Don't arrest him," every time they arrested me and made the force look bad.
There were city ordinances against street performing, against any form of what they call panhandling, which if you do street shows, that's a bit of an insult, but it's the same laws apply. You're asking people for money and you're not supposed to do that. But then there's the Constitution of the United States, which guarantees you free speech, and you are on public property, which means it's not owned by the city, it's owned by the public. And these are things that can be argued very successfully if you bring them up to high enough courts. These guys did it. They went out and did shows, and they got arrested, and they went in front of the judges, and they cited their First Amendment rights, they cited the Public Land Act, and they came out victorious, almost unanimously, almost every single time.
I'd like to see the politicians of this city say to these people that if you don't like it, then you should live somewhere else. This is New Orleans. That's what I'd like to see.
Now, Doug, when I put on the blindfold, look at me. I can't see, all right? So don't do any jokes, don't do this, all right? Hold it tight. Doug, that's very immature. Doug, relax, man. You'll go blind. Here we go. Doug, look at me. Doug, don't do that again. Just hold it tight, all right? You can do it. Doug. Doug, look at me. Look at me. This is serious. Don't move, all right? Hold it tight. You ready, sir? All right, here we go. Everybody, like this. Come on, people. Clap. Come on, louder, people. Don't move, Doug. Harder, people. Faster. Here we go. 1, 2, don't move. And 3.
Stand up there, Doug. You did it, buddy. Everyone. You made it, man. Everyone, give this man a big round of applause for helping out. Take it back with me, Doug.
Hey, Mom! Mom! Where'd you and Dad move to?
If it wasn't for my brother, I probably wouldn't be performing today. He's got cerebral palsy, he walks on crutches, and I grew up with a lot of my relatives giving him a lot of attention. As a matter of fact, when I was a kid, sometimes I would even wish I was crippled. I wish I was the one in a wheelchair or walking on crutches because, you know, I just wanted the attention.
Yeah, I'll do anything for attention. My God, just look at me. Look at me!
Artists over the years have been able to disguise it with a lot of flowery talk about the arts. I think, though, that a probably clearer perspective on motivations might have to do with whatever psychological need they have to be accepted, loved for whatever reason.
Energy, like exchange, you know, the whole deal. And some nights you have the energy and they don't have any energy. You can give it to them and you can fire them up and they'll get them all pumped. Some nights they have it and you don't, and you can suck it off them. You can get, you know, you can go to work feeling dumb and actually get energy off the crowd and feel great by the end of the night if they have it. The nights that neither of you have it are really long nights.
When I bomb, which, you know, it's like, I get angry.
Hey, folks, I have an idea. If this is boring, why don't you guys go somewhere else? You fucking idiots, fucking losers.
You know, when you bomb, because you're playing, the character you're playing is yourself, it's like, oh my God, they hate me.
You losers.
Streets are totally merciless. I mean, and that's tough. I mean, you are gonna suck when you start. There's just no way around it, and you can't bomb with grace.
It's kind of a house made of cards, and then suddenly it falls down. Sometimes you make a great show, and then you're building the house up, and then one crappy show just make everything fall down again.
And I got really nervous, and I started to drop things, you know, where I never dropped things before. It was just like my hands wouldn't work. I was trying to perform, and it was just this horrible, horrible feeling.
What happens? You do a bad show, you do a real dog of a show, you walk off stage, and there's this voice that turns to you and in a wistful voice says, "I had a great gift once, and now it's gone."
Remember, I know about black people. I've been black for more than 20 years. Shit, black people run in my family. And very often they had to. See?
As I was walking down the street only today and a small child shouts, "Midget with a violin."
You write a joke, and sometimes you just use your mechanical skills and you write a joke and you knock it out, but a lot of times you find a joke. You're writing it and you wrote it, but it's not like you thought of it. You found it. I don't know where it comes from, but you know, I'll be writing along and suddenly I'll start laughing, and if someone were to hear it, they go, "Man, you know, the guy really likes his own humor," but it's not that. It's that I didn't write it, I found it. It was somewhere and I discovered it.
Anything that happens on the street, I have many, 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 many journals like this, and I write everything down in my journals. Even if it's just like look at someone real fast in the face and fall down. Anything I do that worked that day in improvisation, I write down in my journal.
I hate to seem anal or anything, but
this is research. We're now researching what shit about ourselves, what's good about ourselves, so we can constantly keep up a program of improvements.
What do you think about people who steal material from other performers?
I don't really, you know, appreciate that too much. I've seen my bits being completely ripped off.
And I used to go out to Union Square and do Robert Shields' act. I'd watch him do his act, and then I'd try to do it when he clocked off and went off to eat dinner. And it was kind of hard because I couldn't really do the mime thing other than, you know, I'd get frustrated and start yelling at people, you know.
If you're going to steal it well, that's all. I mean, if you're going to have to steal it, do it better than the person who originated. I mean, that's the only thing you do. But in the beginning, young performers have a tendency to take everything, because they don't know any better.
You know, honing a routine takes a long time, and so when somebody comes and takes your material, it's like, hey, wait a minute. However, that being said, I think that everybody has stolen a line.
I mean, I still have people who see my act sometimes and say, you know, you're reminding me of somebody, and they'll be Whitney Brown. You know, he was a big influence on me.
Everybody I know started out trying to be someone else and eventually became themselves. That's how you do it.
That's was part of my success. Imitate someone who's doing it successfully and speed up the process. Why learn fire eating and fuck it up by doing it wrong? Find someone who's doing it successfully, imitate them, speed up the process, and you're ahead of the ball game. It was out of survival that I did that.
You look at movies today, and a lot of the comedy movies, they're all rip-offs from Charlie Chaplin and Buster Keaton and stuff like that. You go back, and sometimes you watch a Charlie Chaplin movie and say, oh, that's so cliche. And then you realize, no, it's not cliche. It's cliche because everybody went and imitated him, and this is the guy doing the original thing.
Scott, how many balls under the hat? How many balls now?
I don't know, I got one.
3. Should be watching here anyway. Audience, I used it lightly. Look.
9 months.
Look. Look. Watch. I'm done. That's my show. Clap anyway, what the hell?
Basically, I had an aneurysm, a blockage to the brain, and it left me paralyzed down one side, and I had to recuperate, and it took a lot out of me to recuperate, and that's why I become angry for the first 2 years of me getting back on my feet, because people didn't know what I was going through. Like I say, a performer, if they're happy inside, they do a happy show. I was very angry inside, so I'd become an angry performer. But it made me great money, so I stayed angry, you know.
They say a performer is only as good as his audience. Right now, I suck.
Let's say you're film with us, dude. Let's say you have a hot date and you need money. That's when you fuck, because you really need money and you have to go there and make it, man. You fuck, man, because you make less.
It's the 4th or the 5th,
Yeah,
and it's a
man.
Saturday, you ain't got no money for rent, the landlord's beating on the door, and you're like, well, I hope it don't rain.
Yeah, when it starts raining, you know, then it's real hard. You fly south.
Or a hurricane or something like that hits, obviously you can't set up.
I've been rained on before and made $2 or $3, you know. You get right to the end of the show and you're going faster and faster and faster because you know the rain's coming, and then all of a sudden, boom, it just dumps on you just before right at the finale, and the crowd just runs off and you end up with like $2 or $3 and it's like, ah, shit.
Oh, shit, come on. Thank you. Shove it in. Oh, appreciate it. Where's the 5? You need change for the nickel?
Sometimes you make it, you get the hat, sometimes you don't.
No matter how good or how famous or how rich you are, the attendance at your funeral will depend upon the weather.
Anyway, here's the banana trick. I hope you people like it. Yeah, as much as I do. Ooh. Mm. Mm. Watch who claps. You see the men clapping? Those are the men who know how hard this is, okay? They understand.
It would take a very, very special person to be able to put up with what we go through.
You know, nobody wants to date a single dad with a curly mustache that climbs ladders on ropes.
It's very difficult to have a normal life, and it definitely affects what partners you can have in life, because the partner, talking on the spousal level, what partner can you have that will live with the fact that you're on the road, a third to half of the year?
I have a boy right now, and the hardest thing in the world is to bring up a boy, and the second hardest thing is to spend time with him. But I can't give up my lifestyle. He's going to have the rest of his life, but he understands his dad. He understands that I travel all over the world, and sometimes I have to be elsewhere. That's why he hasn't spoke with me in 12 months.
My intensity with my work and my unyielding nature, as far as when I have to work, did contribute to the breakup of my marriage. Absolutely. No question.
You have to totally live it. It's like a spell that comes over you, and it's your whole identity. It can't just be something that you do. If it's just something that you do sort of on the side, then you just suck, And the people who are good are completely wrapped up in this spell of who they are and what they're doing.
I think what it comes down to is that we have such a passion for what we do that the people in our lives feel slighted, that they're not getting the same attention that we're giving to our work.
My wife would say, whenever anybody asks her, he just has this need to climb the mountain, And
you'll understand when I say this piece is called Tranquility in the Rainforest.
Juggle a chainsaw, bowling ball, and egg. I ride a 12-foot unicycle, and I blow a 10-foot ball of fire out of my ass.
Well, I do dangerous stuff in the show because that's what people want to see, That's what gets their attention. But, of course, sometimes it's not as dangerous as it looks. Sometimes you make it look more dangerous than it really is to keep the crowd interested, And then other times, you really get hurt.
Up to my elbow and then just went splash open, lots of blood. Kept going, did 2 more shows after that. Did you? The show must go on.
Just pretty much each big trick has cost me some time and pain.
Take this away from me. Coming down.
I've shattered each wrist, dislocated each level, broken uncountable ribs.
Jeez. You discover things. I discovered never eat fire when you're totally wasted in the windy conditions,
I explained to the guy that he didn't want to go like this in my mouth, and he still went like that in my mouth. I thought.
Any artist has some kind of danger, Look at the guy that painted the top of the ceiling. He painted 40, 50, 60 feet in the air, upside down, on a very, very rocky scaffold.
Keeps us two out of 2 places, the poorhouse and your house.
What's the most you've ever made on one show?
I'm not gonna tell you.
All right.
It was $196.
Okay, where was that at?
I'm not gonna tell you where they are.
That's the one thing you're not supposed to talk about, is how much money you make. I mean, within the band of brothers and sisters, a couple are out there, you can tell them, money's such a weird thing, obviously because it's money.
I think I pulled something like 1,700 Australian dollars, which was pretty good for one show, and I thought to myself, I'm a god!
You're making like $400 a month. When you're 13 years old, it's like, what do you spend $400 on when you have no overhead? You know, and then as you get a little bit older, you make a little bit more money, but then, you know, you can only make so much money, $1 at a time, you know?
We think we make a lot of money. We don't make that much money. Bill Gates makes money.
I know what it feels like to straighten out like hundreds and hundreds of $1 bills after you bring them home at night, and your hands are filthy and green and, you know, sticky, and it smells funny. You know, it's got a distinct smell to it.
Money smells like people's greasy, corn dog encrusted fingers.
Money smells like success. When you're dirty and you're counting it, and sometimes you, when nobody's looking, you roll around in it, it smells dirty and filthy and nice.
Keep washing, look, still burning. Here, look. Look. All right, here. Look. All right, I got it. Look. Right here. Up. Make some noise, a little more. Hey, come on, hey. You're not gonna see that again for a long time, folks.
The bottom line is, you could take me and drop me practically any place on the planet where there's land, and I'm going to do fine. I can go entertain people. You can drop me naked anywhere, and within a couple days, I'll be back into society and accepted by the people around me and welcomed, and that's an incredible thing.
Our talent alone just take us places where some of the average guys our age or whatever, that where we live, didn't really get to see all 4 boroughs of New York. We got to see states, you know?
Right on.
Overseas and stuff.
You can do what you want, where you want, and you can travel around the world and be in nice places and enjoy yourself, which is quite nice. And look, I actually did it. I'm not as stupid as I thought.
Besides money, what do you think you get from performing?
I let out all this extra juice that otherwise I wouldn't know where to put. It's like I've always been kind of not hyperactive, but always kind of a show off, I guess. So it's just a way to let it out.
So do you have to perform?
Yeah, I have to. Otherwise, I'm really annoying. Most of the time we work in Europe, which is an old tradition with 1,000 years old that's been respected over there. It's like being a lawyer or being a doctor. People want people to entertain them, and they like it, and they pay for it.
America generally thinks of people as, when you say street performer, they think panhandler. Europe, you are an artiste over there. You just walk down the street with maybe a unicycle and some props, and people will follow you like the Pied Piper to the piazza or the central part of town. And you can set up your stuff anywhere, and they will wait for an hour while you're setting up, even if you don't even speak their language. And after the show, you get invited to dinner. Yeah, do you need a place to stay? You're a welcome part of their family and their life. So that's quite a bit different from America.
Ladies and gentlemen, just to make it, could you let go? I need a little blood in the arm. I'm gonna try it using Mike's prescription glasses. Whoa! Man, you don't need glasses, you need a dog. One more lens, you could be a fly. I can see into the future with these things. Man, you ever clean these, Mike? Gotta clean them up. Ladies and gentlemen, attempting to juggle 3 flaming torches. You wanna keep it away from the face, eh? Kids, take your time coming up here. I feel it's worth it. You folks in the back, push, shove. Perfectly all right? No? I want $5. Go get some more. You understand? I work hard. I ain't got no IRA plan.
There isn't a stage of the game in entertainment where there's a retirement program, you know? You know, we end up, either you make your millions and you save it, or you end up like a boxer, you know? You make your millions and you lose it all. Now, you're gonna take care of yourself and put it away. You gotta save money, you know?
I was pretty damn happy as a street performer, but I was getting older.
It can be scary if you make your living with your body. You know, getting older, you see, what am I going to do next? You know, when it doesn't work.
You know, it doesn't look good that a 40-year-old man's still on the streets, because they say, you know, if he's any good, what's he doing here?
Can't be a mime forever in 45. I mean, it's a guy out there with a walker trying to build a wall.
So you're always striving for a goal, man, you know. And I think it's fame and fortune. Even if you don't make it, you know, you still have that dream that you will make it. If you lose that dream, you're finished. You know, in my mind, I'm still gonna make it. You know, I'm older now and everything, but I still have that dream and a desire, man. You know, I still see it. You know.
What will you do when you retire?
Don't know. You know. Hopefully, I'll die. You know, hopefully I'll die one day in my sleep. Because when I retire, man, basically, I want to own some buildings, man. But like I said, I need to start saving some money up. So because I don't have a lot of money saved, a little money saved, not much, but property. But when I get property, then what? I'm confused. I have no idea. I'm winging it from day to day.
Right now, I'm into real estate back in the Virgin Islands. I've been doing this for about 14 years, and so far I got 5 houses rent out back in the islands. And once you make money, you got to invest it into something, so when you stop doing this, you don't have to go and look for a job. You got to kiss somebody's ass. You see, I don't believe in that. So, you know, right now, I'm putting away money for the rainy days, when days start coming hard. Like, you know, when, you know, your ankle, you know, your elbow start giving out, you can't jump anymore. You just have something put away aside where you can say, oh man, I'm proud of myself. I beat the system.
Hope that break's not getting hot, George. Thank you very much for coming out. We are Shock Value. Thank you very much. If you haven't enjoyed the show, by the way, we're Penn and Teller. George, the Giant! Check it out, ladies and gentlemen.
That's the need I'm feeding out there, is the need to be the center of attention and to be liked, you know? I don't think it's a bad thing at all. I think if I'm glad that I have this need, I'm glad that I have this sort of deficiency. I think all the great artists that have ever lived have had a deficiency of some kind that they have filled by creating great things.
You would rather not have that need and be content with an easier, less turbulent life. 9 to 5 picket fence, kids, insurance policy, all that.
I think the highs are higher. The lows may be lower, but I think the highs are higher in this world. And I like that. That's one of the things I like about it.
Do you think there's any truth to that performers are looking for love from the audience that they didn't get elsewhere?
The sad clown image, the idea that I think that if you analyze anyone, you can find deep sorrow and unhappiness at some levels. But a basic dissatisfaction with life that's worse than the rest of the population, I don't buy it. I think that there's some people maybe that fall into that category, that find acceptance from a crowd that's a substitute for something that they find in the rest of their lives. But I don't buy it as a general premise for these people are really, they look like they're having a great time and happy. And I'm here to tell you, we are, some of us at least.
I think it's great that the Europeans respect street performing more than the Americans do, and maybe it's a better job over there, but the fact that there is street performing here in America is a great thing, and I'll tell you something, the minute you don't see street performers in America, that means our civil liberties are being taken away far more than our forefathers ever intended. And that's the direction we seem to be going right now. And I just hope that it doesn't continue to the point where street performers have nowhere to perform in America.
I guess it's one of the last places where people who don't know each other will gather together and rub shoulders. I guess it's probably, you know, too overblown to say they feel a sense of community, but I think that people definitely feel a sense of, oh God, togetherness.
I don't do this for the money, I do it because I was born with this spark to entertain people. And sometimes that's a blessing, sometimes that's a curse, and that's why I do it.
Maybe I have some street performer gene inside my DNA.
And it's better than anything in the world, and no one can understand that but another performer.
I really like the spiritual part of it. You show up on a piece of cement, there's nothing happening, and then nothing would be nothing happening there. You throw down a bag on the ground, and you make a show happen. Every show, you're nobody, you're just loser, nothing. And by the end of the show, you're a hero, and everybody loves you, and you're a god. They walk away, and you're back to being nothing again. And then I love nothing more than the end of the day, you walk back with your bag full of money, and you look back, and there's nothing but a piece of cement there still. The sun's going down, and you're like, yeah, I made a difference in my little weird way on the planet.
Oh, I just bit my tongue, sorry. One of the things was the fact that am I bleeding? I just bit my tongue really bad.
Yeah.
One of the things that set me,
Yeah, you're bleeding.
Sorry, I really bit it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Sure.
This is a good answer to your question. Blood is one of the things that set me apart. Boy, that hurt.
Do you want a napkin or something?
Let's do a piece of skin.